is Miranda, and today I'm here to discuss the second episode of The Seven from Dimension 20, and I really love this episode so much. I think we got to see a lot more of like the dynamics in the group, and particularly like the dynamics between the group, which was really nice. Like we saw Zelda and Katya and Sam and Yell, and I thought it was just really nice to see how like even in this big group of seven that all love each other, like the small dynamics within them, because obviously like Katya and Zelda are very like their personalities are very similar. Ostentation Sam, their personalities are very loud, and I like that Yell, even though she's kind of the opposite of Sam, much more calm and stuff like that, was the one that kind of talked to her and explained everything about like what you're feeling is valid, but like that doesn't mean that you get to not recognize what other people are feeling too. Like everyone's feelings are valid, and I just think it was a really great episode. I initially, I will say, was annoyed when like Zelda, was it Zelda or was it Antiope that first brought up of like we need to take a minute to think about like do we really want to graduate early like and be a adventuring party for like real and do this like full time. And Ostentation and Sam obviously were both so upset about that and we're like, I don't even need to think about that, like of course it's a yes, what are you talking about, and got very defensive. And like I said, I was originally like annoyed. I was like, oh, like stop, like you're being so rude. But then I realized it's true to who their characters are, and I think it's true to, you know, teenagers, and it's true to, you know, that kind of thing when like you know that you want to be there and you know that you love these girls, and it's kind of that fear of like, oh my gosh, do they not love me as much as I love them? Like how could this not be an easy decision for them? And I think what like I realized that halfway, so I was like, oh my gosh, like they're yelling, but like it's coming from a place of hurt and like fear. And then afterwards I think seeing them both apologize, well, Sam didn't apologize to Zelda, but like felt bad and said like she thought she should apologize to Zelda. But Ostentation, my absolute fave, how she just started sobbing and was like, we can't disband the group, but then how she apologized and how she made that whole video of like, hello, I have decided that I am going to go on this quest no matter what. Like, you are welcome to join me, but it does not mean that you are part of my adventuring party. And how like she was so cute about like being like, I'm working on my issues and you know I'm trying to express better, I'm using a lot of I talk. Like I thought that was really nice, and seeing her talk with Antiope was very nice too. And I just think, yeah, that for me, I could see where people would be like, why are you being so annoying, of course you want to be part of this group, like blah blah, but it's realistic. And I think it's also realistic that like obviously the players know like, oh, we're an adventuring party, like the seven of us, I should definitely sign up. But I like that Antiope and Penny are kind of struggling with that. I think it's for different reasons. I think Antiope is definitely family legacy and kind of she doesn't want to be a leader, and going into this internship, this is definitely a role where she'll be a follower and not have to worry about, you know, like leading. Like she got very like was like, no, I don't want this, when they were like, thanks for being the leader of the seven. And I think that's maybe going to be her journey of realizing that she is kind of a natural leader, and that was what her sister was kind of hinting at as well, of like, you know, you go up against people and on your own and stand on your own and people listen to you, like me and your other siblings, like all we do is follow and we're really great at it, but it doesn't mean that that's what you have to do as well. So I think in the end she's going to stay, and I think they're all going to stay, truly I do. I think it's just kind of that life lesson you have to learn of, you know, like what exactly is the right option for you. And then for Penny, on the other hand, I also think it's similar of like I think Jawbone, which praise my man Jawbone, I think he summed it up perfectly when she is so scared of making the wrong choice and missing out on something that she constantly does everything, you know. And I think he summed it up so well in general for high schoolers and kids who are like Penny, who are kind of overachievers and find that like they're obviously not doing well, but they act like they're doing well because they've got all the fires burning at once. Like I think he summed that up of like kids, like high school and stuff is kind of set up so you can be able to do it all in a way, you know, like it's hard, but you can do sports, you can do homework, you can get good grades, you can be a really good soccer player if you are, like it's made so you're able to fit all that in. And then when you go off to college or to the secret rogue society like Penny might be, that's kind of when you have to start making choices. You know, you miss out on classes that maybe you're interested in, but you really have to focus on classes that you want. And there is that fear of like, am I making a mistake? How do I know what the right choice is? And as someone who relates to that a lot, and that was a big dilemma, I mean still is, but a big dilemma with like college for me, I feel like I just relate to that so much of how anxious it is and how it's like, no, I can do everything. Like you don't, like I can do this, and it's kind of, I think for both of them, just the the unknown, the first time they've really had two choices in their life where you can't go back necessarily if you pick one, and you can't do both in the case of Penny. So I think it's going to be really interesting, and I think it's cool how it bonds them, Penny and Antiope, more, because they're the two that are kind of like, they've got this thing and they don't know, and it's hard to talk to the Seven about it because obviously, like, aside from Zelda and Katya, I mean, the others really want them and yell. Mainly Sam and Ostentation, they get so loud and they, like, you know, they don't listen. And again, if that's not a bad thing, and I think they're trying both to improve upon that. It's just, it's very hard when, again, I think Yell nailed it when she was basically like, you feel abandoned again about Sam. And I think Ostentation, we've also seen, comes from a very chaotic household. So I feel like, you know, for them, it's kind of triggering of another person that thinks they're not enough, you know, like I love you, but you don't love me as much, and that can be very, like, that can be heartbreaking to think, and it can get you defensive. So I will say this was also the episode, it got me. It's only 2 episodes in and I was crying. The part that made me cry was when Katya went to comfort Zelda, and Zelda was like, I know it's stupid that, like, I'm crying, blah blah blah, and Katya was like, it's not stupid, like, it's how you feel. Just because it's a different opinion doesn't mean it's wrong. And I was like sobbing, like, just how she was like, thanks, Katya. And I think Katya, we need to talk about Reika as Katya, because this girl is like ripping my heart out, and she's ripping Brennan's heart out too, because you can see how she's like, oh, and, like, every time she says something, he's like, oh. And like, I think the things that got me were when she was like, something about just because, like, the people that love you aren't around, like, you have to let them make their own choice. Like, clearly about her dad broke my heart. Something about with when she was talking to Zelda about how she was like, you know, like, people let us down, and was trying to, like, hide that, like, it was about her dad, clearly about her dad. And then the last thing was when she called her dad and he didn't pick up on the phone, and she had to leave a message, and she said, what I want for graduation is for my adventuring party to stay together. Like, she just breaks my heart. And I love how she describes what her character's feeling and being like, you know, my character's trying to hide this, but, like, she's feeling very upset. And I think, like, that's just the whole, oh my gosh, the thing. I wish I could remember verbatim the quote, and it was just so sad, because you know it's so triggering for her, but I feel like she tries to hide it because she just isn't great at communicating and stuff. But I really like how you see within the Seven, like, they're very good at validating each other and, like, being like, you know, it's okay to feel like that. Like, especially with Zelda, they were like, it's okay to cry, like, it's not stupid, and, you know, it's okay to feel those emotions, and, like, the group hugs they just kept giving each other. I just love how, like, supportive and full of affirmations this group is, and I think it's just really sweet, and I feel like the group of people playing feeds so well off each other that it's very fun to see them interact and see kind of all their little side things and stuff like that. And I also really, really liked Sam going to see Penelope in the mirror. I think Persephone is also one that plays her character very well, and that she explains, like, I know this is wrong, but Sam's in a bad headspace and it's gonna do something bad. Like, I like that, like, she can explain that. So when she saw Penelope, I think the description of Penelope was so horrifying but so accurate. Like, I could totally picture that in, like, a movie, TV show, of, like, just having, like, glass jammed into her head as, like, a misshapen, like, scary kind of crown. And I mean, she hasn't changed, you know, she hasn't changed. She doesn't have any remorse for what she did. And I think Brennan said it very well when he was like, nothing good can come of this confrontation with Penelope, because Penelope is someone who delights in pain and likes pain, and Sam's not. So Sam, like, throwing jabs at her, it's not going to bring Sam the comfort that she wants. And I do feel like that whole thing of when she was like, your parents are divorcing, and closed the mirror, and everyone flipped, was like, oh my god. I was like, yes! Like, I really love, like, that's what I mean about, like, the players are just as supportive as the characters of the other's choices, and it's so funny to see them get all worried. Like, that's the great part about being at a tabletop, right? You can be like, woo! And, like, the fans and everything. It's just great to, like, be back. And then we also got to see three of our favorite buds. So we saw Galir, who I freaking love. We saw Jawbone, who I also love. And then we saw Penny again, of course. And then we did see Penny, of course, who I already talked about. Or Penelope, sorry, Penny. But it was awesome to see, yeah, Jawbone being as amazing as he is. And I have heard many times before, I think Becca said it, and a lot of the members of the Seven have said it, Penny is the thirstiest of the group. And I feel like we really started to see that in this one when she was like, we're the maidens, but we're not going to be, like, we're working on changing that. And I was like, Penny, you can't say that to a guidance counselor. And then she full on tried to kiss him, and he was just like, well, bye. I love Jawbone's the best, honestly, and I'm so glad, like, that's what I love about seeing, like, a world of, like, you're seeing the same world but from a different point of view. Like, I like that you're still seeing Jawbone, you're still seeing Galir, but there's different, like, they don't all like Galir. They think he's kind of weird. They all love Jawbone, because who doesn't love Jawbone? But I like that you're seeing it from a different point of view now, and it's really fun. And yeah, their whole goal is really going to be interesting, this quest of finding this superintendent who has mysteriously gone missing for some reason. I'm still kind of confused about, like, what her whole deal with, because obviously, like, Arthur Eggfort, his is chronomancy, which is like time and stuff. Hers sounded more like the bending of reality and manipulation of that is what she was more interested in. So I don't know if she's good or bad. You know, we do have this episode ended with that creepy girl from the mirror showing up at the last second, but I don't know if this is something now that, like, Tectania, which I love that she's an Earth Genasi and her name is Tectania, like tectonic plate. I think that's so funny. But I don't know if she's gonna be good or bad. Like, did she run away because she found something and she's like, oh my gosh, this gets into the wrong hands, we're screwed? Or did she find something that she's like, I gotta complete this and I need to go to this place to complete it? I'm kind of leaning towards the former, because why else would you be in, like, hiding for 12 years essentially? But I do think it'll be interesting to see that and see, like, you know, obviously they gotta find her to sign this paper, but then why have you been missing for 12 years? You know, like, there's other things going on. So I think it's really interesting just to see, you know, who is bad, who's good right now. The maidens are kind of a little fractured right now, but they put it on the back burner and kind of made up of, like, we're not gonna force you to join the group right now if you don't want to and make this decision. So it's just really interesting and really exciting, and I'm excited to see where it goes in the next episode and how this creepy girl in the mirror is going to be dealt with. So yeah, if you have seen the episode, please feel free to leave your thoughts and your theories for what's coming up next. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!